The one page that changes everything. I've sat in hundreds of strategy offsites, watched countless leadership teams spend 2 or 3 days filling whiteboard after whiteboard, debating, aligning, documenting, and then watch the binders get shelved and the strategy drift away by February. The problem is almost never the quality of the thinking. The problem is that strategy without a single, shared, visible focal point doesn't stick. People leave the offsite with different memories of what was decided. A week later, everyone is back to their default priorities. This is exactly the problem the one-page strategic plan, the OPSP, was designed to solve. One page to rule them all. The OPSP, which Vern Harnish and the Gazelles team developed, and which I contributed to as part of the Scaling Up framework, is not a summary of your strategy. It is your strategy, all of it, distilled to a single page that every person in the company can read, understand, and act on. It contains your core values and core purpose, your long-range BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, your 3 to 5 year targets, your annual critical number and key initiatives, and your quarterly priorities. It cascades from the longest time horizon to the shortest, so every 90-day rock connects explicitly to the decade-long vision. A plan no one can see is a plan no one is following. The OPSP makes strategy visible, and visible strategy drives aligned execution. What makes it powerful is not the format. It's the discipline the format forces. When you have to fit everything on one page, you have to choose. You have to decide which 3 or 4 things matter most this year and which 20 things don't. That act of choosing and committing to what you're not doing as much as what you are is where most companies fail. The critical number one of the most important elements on the OPSP is the critical number. Created by Jack Stack and popularized through Scaling Up, the critical number is the single most measurable priority for the quarter or the year. The one metric that, when moved, tends to knock over everything else. Think of your company's challenges and opportunities lined up like dominoes. The critical number is the lead domino. It's not the most important metric in the abstract. It's the one choke point or constraint that, when addressed, makes everything else easier. Ben Godsey at ProService Hawaii set his critical number as 600 customer referrals in a year, 3 times their previous best. The entire company rallied around it. They hit it with weeks to spare. Referrals became embedded in the culture. The flywheel started turning. That's the power of a single, shared, measurable number everyone can see. Strategy cascades down the OPSP isn't just a leadership team tool. Done right, it cascades through the entire organization. Every function, every team, every individual has their own version, with the company's priorities at the top and their specific contribution below. A driver in a garbage truck can post it in the cab. An engineer can pin it at their desk. The question the OPSP keeps answering at every level is, what is the most important thing I should be doing right now? When everyone in the company has a clear, aligned answer to that question, execution becomes dramatically simpler and dramatically faster. Why most strategic plans fail? Most strategic plans fail not because the strategy is wrong, but because it lives in a binder or a slide deck. Nobody can tell you what's on slide 17. Nobody can recite the 4 key priorities without looking them up. The strategy exists in theory and nowhere else. The OPSP forces a different discipline. Because it's one page, it has to be memorized, internalized, and referenced. Because it has a critical number, everyone knows what winning looks like this quarter. Because it connects daily rocks to the decade-long BHAG, every team member can see how their work connects to the larger mission. I've used this tool with over 100 companies across 4 continents. It is the single most consistently powerful strategy execution tool I know. Challenge. Does every person on your leadership team currently have a single piece of paper that captures the company's strategy, this year's priorities, and this quarter's critical number? If not, that's your first project.